Hey everybody, Doc Frigo here, Yellow Dog Walleyes, just leaving the harbor today. And as you can kind of see behind me, there's nobody here but me. Everybody's down at the other harbor. I'm at Bay Point. Everybody else is at Coville. There's a good bite going south. There's no question about that. Things are kicking in. Gotta put on my old sunglasses. There. Now I look cool. So anyways, my guide trip today got canceled. They couldn't make it, so no biggie. So I'm going fishing anyways. So it's kind of like, okay, well, big deal, I'm going fishing. But I tend to kind of do things a little differently than I think a lot of other guys do. When you're guiding, you have to fish at the level of the people you have along. When I'm not guiding, I get to do a lot of cool things that is called experimentation, which sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I learn a ton. I kind of grew up wanting to be a professional bass angler. So that was until, 5th grade. Mrs. Fatzinger, my 5th grade English teacher, super lady, and we were doing like a career project. And I put for my career, I wanted to be a bass master, a professional bass fisherman on the lead series. And she said, Jeremy, that's not an occupation choice. So, she's a sweet woman. So, before we go bashing on Mrs. Fatzinger, loved her. She was a great teacher. She had probably 25 5th graders in the room, and she probably just said, look, just stick with the assignment or whatever. But, the bottom line is, I grew up bass fishing. I mean, I love bass fishing. I love watching Bassmasters. I love it because those guys are always so innovative in what they do. They have to use artificial bait. It's one guy against one guy. And, it really, the innovation from the bass industry, because they've gotten away from live bait, has been huge. And those bass guys catch a lot of walleyes. And so I'm always trying to think of, fishing the most active fish. That's always my desire, is to fish the most active fish. And a lot of that means, using tactics that are more artificial based. And so that's why I've really gotten into the shiver minnows. Shiver minnows have caught fish when nothing else has. It's just been flooring me on how many places I can use shiver minnows and catch fish. A lot of things, like we typically don't use a lot of blade baits in the summertime. I've been fishing a lot of blade baits this summer. Fishing a lot of plastics. Typically we're onto live bait. I do fish a lot of live bait. But, really trying to pick things apart and constantly learning the river and where these fish are sitting in new spots. Because it's so easy. Like today, if you want to catch fish, it's no secret. Go down to the Bay City Flats, pull out your cranks, troll around in circles, and you are going to catch oodles of walleyes. If you want to catch walleyes, go down to Maiden Rock. You can pull all the way from Maiden Rock, all the way down past Stockholm, along Deer Island, all the way to Pepin. On the Wisconsin side, pull your cranks. You might end up with, it wouldn't surprise me if you ended up with 100 fish today. Now, how many fish am I going to catch today? Well, I'm going to catch a lot of them. But I'm going to be catching them pitching jigs. I'm going to be catching them on shiver minnows. I'm going to do some dragging too, just because I love to drag jigs. But I'm really going to run around and target some areas that I have never fished before, that I've driven by so many times. And I am going to throw shiver minnows to them. I'm going to throw blades to them. I might throw some swim baits. I don't know if I got actually a rod now for throwing swim baits. Same rod I use out in Dakota, because we use that a lot. But when we get around these situations, you can slow roll a plastic swim bait like a Pulsar or a Strike King Rage on a really heavy jig. I'm talking 5/16, 3/8, half ounce, and slow roll that right along the bottom, and you can pound the walleyes. And we do that out in Dakota religiously, especially early season. When the water's still like in the 50s and early 60s. So, there's so many different ways to catch fish, but we get caught in this rut and, we just want to catch fish, and stuff like that. But, really, if you get a chance, and you're driving by these spots, like an example is there's one spot in the back channel. I drove by that spot for 15 years thinking, someday I should go check that out. Someday I should go check that out. And lo and behold, I went and checked it out 3 years ago, and it was like, oh my gosh. And the thing is everybody drives by these spots. So, you know, it's fine just to come out and catch some fish, but, you know, the bottom line is, you know, always be learning. And don't necessarily just be learning by what other people are doing. It's okay to strike out, okay? I mean, every person that ever did an experiment in research will tell you that 90% of the time it's a failure, and then that 10% of the time you just strike gold, you know, and that happens so often with me down here on the river. So anyways, I'm going to go out there. I'll check in later. I'll kind of tell you what I'm doing. Of course, I'm not going to be specific, and I'm not going to tell you the spot I'm going to do like other guys do that are flooding the internet with that way, because all they're doing is not really helping people out by doing that. Other than, don't get me started on that bandwagon. That's for another video. So anyways, have a great day. I'm going to go catch some fish, and I'm going to hit the motor because I'm out of the no-wake zone. Talk to you later.